Amen.
Amen.
Over the last few classes,
Na posledných hodinách
we've been doing an extensive review of the material
sme robili také zhrnutie toho materiálu všetkého,
that we've studied in this school.
toho, čo sme študovali na tejto škole.
Perhaps around 20 classes,
Možno 20 hodín
and we took about 4 or 5 classes to summarize them.
a asi 4 alebo 5 hodín bolo zhrnutie.
And obviously, perhaps not obvious to some people, but I would say obviously that summary expanded and clarified some
A
things.
sa to nám rozšírilo pohľad a vyjasnilo veci. Možno niektorým ľuďom nie.
In the midst of that review,
A v tomto zhrnutí
I answered, I think, 2 questions.
som zodpovedal, myslím, 2 otázky.
And between them,
A
those
medzi-
2 questions took around 4 classes or perhaps more.
A to zobralo asi 4 hodiny.
Yeah.
Odpoveď týchto otázok.
Each
Asi 4
question had various parts to it. That's why it took so long.
A každá otázka mala niekoľko častí, preto to trvalo tak dlho.
What were the 2 questions,
Aké boli tie 2 otázky?
Sister Shemaine? First question was about the sealing.
Tá prvá otázka bola o zapečaťovaní.
144,000 are priests.
A prečo 144 000 sú kňazi?
So the first was the sealing, the second was the 144,000.
Prvá bola zapečaťovanie a druhá bola 144 000.
And both questions were in reference to the priests.
Obe otázky sa týkali kňazov.
We've got to, I think, 9.b
Prišli sme po 9b
in our review.
v tom zhrnutí.
So I was going to stop there.
Chcel som tam zastaviť.
There may have been 1 or 2 additional pieces of truths that we looked at, but they don't come to my mind anymore.
Možno bolo ešte pár ďalších kúskov, ktoré sme robili a teraz mi to neprichádza na mysel.
So 9b, the last piece, was 2 streams of information.
9b, tá posledná časť boli 2 zdroje informácií.
So unless someone tells me that there was another significant piece of information that we discussed, then I'm going to move on.
Takže ak mi niekto ešte nepovie, že tam bolo niečo ďalšie dôležité, čo sme robili, tak idem ďalej.
I don't know if we mentioned it. I think the two. There is one message, and after there is an alternative one. But I don't remember if we addressed it already.
Hovorili sme o tom, že je alternatívne posolstvo. Nepamätám si, že by sme to rozobrali.
The everlasting gospel and an alternative.
Večné evanjelium a alternatíva.
In the review,
V tom zhrnutí
what number was that?
to bola koľkatka.
Sister Catherine?
Taken.
She said there was the everlasting gospel and, what did you say? Alternative? Alternative message.
To, že máme večné evanjelium a alternatívne posolstvo.
So she's inferring that we didn't review that.
Ona hovorí, že toto sme neprešli, to sme nerozobrali.
And I'm suggesting we did.
Ja hovorím, že áno.
So, assuming that we did, which number would it be?
Ktoré číslo by to bolo?
9A? The mark of the beast, the seal of God.
9a, znamenie
Two
šelmy
alternative messages.
a Božia pečať, dve alternatívne posolstva,
The gospel
evanjelium
and its substitute.
a jeho náhrada.
Anyone else?
Ešte niekto?
Truth. No, the wrong thing is close to the right thing, and it becomes. This is that. Yeah.
Yes?
Okay.
To správne
9b.
príde blízko k tomu nesprávnemu.
Two streams are
9b, dva
two
zdroje,
messages.
sú dve posolstva.
It's not just it rejecting the everlasting gospel.
To nie je len odmietnutie večného evanjelia.
The everlasting gospel does not just produce two groups by itself.
Večné evanjelium neprodukuje dve skupiny samé o sebe, alebo samé od seba.
We use the phrase
Používame
that we
frázu,
connected to the alternative competing message.
ktorú dávame,
Competition.
tej-
We use the phrase
používame frázu,
to describe in connection to the alternative competing message.
v spojitosti s tým alternatívnym posolstvom, ktoré je ako keby superiace, konkurenciou.
The reason it becomes difficult to see the alternative message
Dôvod, prečo je ťažké vidieť to alternatívne posolstvo,
is because,
je kvôli tomu,
for this we need to fill in. And this came up in the classes with when Sarah was translating.
toto bolo vlastne na hodinách, ktoré prekladala Sára.
And the reason why when we first developed our models, we didn't see the alternative message.
Keď my sme vyvíjali tieto naše modely, nevideli sme to alternatívne posolstvo.
If you don't see something,
Ak niečo nevidíme,
why is that?
prečo je to?
Why don't we see things?
Prečo nevidíme veci?
Some reasons. Why would we not see things? It's hidden.
Pretože je to
We'll
skryté.
just go with that.
Toto vezmem.
We won't say that we're incompetent
Nepovieme, že sme nekompetentní
or that we're lazy.
alebo leniví.
We'll call it hidden treasure.
Sú to skryté poklady.
So we didn't see this alternative message
Nevideli sme to alternatívne posolstvo,
because it was hidden.
pretože nám to bolo ukryté.
So when we developed our model of the everlasting gospel producing two classes of people, there was something obvious that we had missed.
Takže keď sme hovorili o tom modeli, že večné evanjelium vytvára dve skupiny, bolo tu niečo, čo nám uniklo, čo sme nevideli.
And what was the obvious thing that we missed?
A čo bola tá zrejmá vec, ktorá nám unikla?
The counterfeit gospel message.
The counterfeit gospel message.
Tá napodobenina. Posolstvo, ktoré je
So
napodobeninou.
when you express it that way, the counterfeit gospel message,
Keď to takto vyjadríme, napodobenina večného
it
evanjelia,
makes us look silly.
to vyzerá, že sme takí hlúpi.
How can we be so silly not to know that?
Ako sme to mohli nevedieť?
So I want to be gentler on us
Chcem k nám byť taký nežnejší,
for once
aspoň raz.
and say, I want to express that same thought in a different way.
A chcem vysvetliť tú istú myšlienku iným spôsobom.
Because if you express it this way, I'm saying, well, what excuse did we have? It's obvious.
Ak to vyjadríme takto, tak poviem, akú máme na to výhovorku, však to bolo jasné.
So we discussed this. I don't know if you remember the phrase that we used to explain why we didn't see the alternative message.
Hovorili sme o tom a neviem, či si pamätáte,
What phrase we used
akú frázu sme použili,
to explain why we didn't see it.
aby sme vysvetlili, prečo sme to nevideli.
So has anybody got an idea of the phrase that I'm thinking?
Máte niekto myšlienku, že
No?
čo mám
Okay,
na
so
mysli?
we'll take a couple of steps.
Takže skúsime cez to prejsť.
The everlasting gospel,
Večné evanjelium,
what's on the other side?
čo je na druhej strane,
The counterfeit, I'm going to call it the alternative.
napodobenina alebo alternatívne posolstvo.
The alternative message.
To je alternatívne posolstvo.
So now I want to give it in a different way.
Chcem tomu teraz dať iný názov.
The everlasting gospel.
Večné evanjelium.
And what's on this side?
Čo je na tejto strane?
Nothing.
Nič.
There is no alternative.
Nie je alternatíva.
There's this one, we can see it clearly. It's written in the scriptures.
Toto vidíme jasne, to je napísané v písme.
Why can't we see this?
Prečo nevidíme toto?
I'm saying
Ja hovorím,
because there is no message.
pretože nie je posolstvo. Nie je žiadne posolstvo.
If we're okay with that.
Ak súhlasíme.
We went to a story.
Išli sme do príbehu.
Okay, what's the phrase we're looking for?
Čo hľadáme teraz? Akú frázu?
What story did we go to?
Do akého príbehu sme išli?
It's a story we don't go to often enough.
Je to príbeh, do ktorého nechodíme veľmi často.
Noah.
Noach.
Okay, so for Noah,
Pre Noacha,
what's this?
čo je toto?
Brother Jim? For Noah, what is this?
Čo je toto? To večné evanjelium.
In the story of Noah, what does it look like?
Ako to vyzerá v príbehu Noacha?
You have two groups of people.
Sieht so aus, als wenn du zwei Menschengruppen hast.
The everlasting gospel
Večné
is a
evanjelium
message.
je posolstvo.
So what is the message
Čo je posolstvo?
in the story of Noah?
V príbehu Noacha.
Just simple.
Get in the boat.
First,
Najprv,
before you get in, before you get into a boat,
predtým ako vošiel na tú
what
loď,
do you have to do?
čo musel urobiť?
There is no boat.
Ešte nebola žiadna loď,
So what do you have to do before you can get into it? Something that doesn't exist.
čo musel spraviť?
Build it, yes?
Musel ju vystavať.
So build the ark,
Musel vystavať archu.
okay? And so the next question people are going to ask,
Ďalšia otázka, čo sa ľudia budú
okay,
pýtať.
you say build it and then get in,
Vystavať a vojsť dnu.
and they're going to ask,
A spýtajú sa čo?
why?
Prečo?
And you're going to say,
A vy poviete?
because
Lebo
how do floods happen?
ako príde tá potopa?
Because it's going to rain.
Bude pršať.
What's on this side?
Čo je na tejto druhej strane?
No message.
Žiadne posolstvo.
Is that a message?
Je to posolstvo?
No.
Nie.
The daily fact.
To sú denné fakty.
What's the phrase I'm going to say in English that you use instead of saying the daily fact?
Čo používame v angličtine na to, aby sme povedali...
We all know it. It's just I want a specific phrase. It's the one that we used.
My to poznáme, len chcem tú špeciálnu frázu, ktorú som používal.
Sorry, you remember what I said? It's the status.
Status quo. Veci sú tak, ako boli vždy.
Is that Latin? So that just means. What does it mean? What does status quo mean?
Čo znamená status quo?
We'll say stays the same.
Zostáva to rovnaké.
That's our rough approximation of the Latin of status quo. Do you know what it means? Yeah. It is what
Je
it
to,
is.
čím to je.
Is that proper definition?
Je
Okay,
to
well,
správna
let's check a
definícia.
proper definition
Poďme sa
of
pozrieť
the
na tú
Latin status
definíciu
quo.
z latinčiny.
You just go into Google, type status quo,
Pozrite na
and it will
Google.
tell you where it comes from and what it
Z
means.
čoho to pochádza?
But we don't want an English definition. We want to go from the Latin to the English. I'll go with that. And you told me, Brother Jonathan, as it was before.
Tak, ako to bolo predtým. Existujúci stav veci.
state of affairs. That's Wikipedia.
To je z
Google will
z
give you one as
Wikipédie.
well. I don't know if it does it on the phone though. On the laptops, on a computer one, it does. Remember we did it, and it does do it on the phone because we you and I did it. Have you got the Latin? It'll give you where it comes from. Yes.
Tak vlastne oni pozerajú viaceré definície na internete toho status quo, ako sa to prekladá. Tak, ako to bolo predtým, existujúci stav veci.
The speaker towards you, so it's right in line. Thanks. Tell us.
Latin, literally the state in which.
The state in which.
Stav, v ktorom.
The state in which. So I'm guessing status is state and Q means in which.
Definition.
Sure, which one was that?
In states, it
Which one
was
did you give?
before. I
Existing
don't know.
state of affair? Or as it was before? Which
As
one?
it was before.
Okay, so as it was
Tak, ako
before,
to bolo
the
predtým.
state in which. So we've got the definition, everybody okay with that?
Also wir
Tak
haben jetzt
máme
hier eine
definíciu
Definition,
toho.
wie schon gesagt, mit der auch nicht jeder zufrieden ist.
That's not a message.
To nie je posolstvo.
That just says it's never rained.
Das ist,
To len hovoríme, veď nikdy nepršalo.
noch nie geregnet.
Everyone knows that.
To všetci
Jeder weiß
vedia.
das.
What happens?
Čo sa deje?
No, I don't mean in the story. The status quo
Status quo
turns into what?
sa stane čím?
Wo verändert sich jetzt zu was?
The one who says it's will when.
Es tut sich, der Status quo verändert sich jetzt in
Sa
eine
stane
Botschaft, weil es auf
tým
einmal eine
alternatívnym
Botschaft gibt, die
posolstvom.
sagt, es wird regnen.
So the status quo itself turns into the alternative message.
Status quo samé o sebe sa z neho stane to alternatívne posolstvo.
And that's why we missed it.
Preto nám to uniklo.
We had this new message
Mali sme toto nové posolstvo
and it was in disagreement to the status quo.
a bolo v nesúhlase s tým pôvodným, s tým status quo.
Everyone knows it is in opposition.
A všetci to vedia, že je to v protiklade s tým, čo
But
doteraz
what people
bolo
begin to
poznané.
do,
To, čo ľudia začnú robiť,
they begin to make a decision.
je, že začnú robiť rozhodnutia.
They either go against the status quo and join Noah, or they follow the status quo and don't join him.
Buď idú proti status quo a pridajú sa k Noachovi, alebo nejdú proti status quo a nepridajú sa.
I'm going to ask this question. I'm sure we'll get it wrong.
Spýtam sa otázku, určite to...
Okay, what is this, by the way?
Čo je toto? Len tak mimochodom.
It's a message.
Je to posolstvo.
That's the preamble to my question.
To je vlastne ten môj predpoklad alebo
What is
preambula.
Noah doing?
Čo robí Noach?
He's giving a
Testing their faith or testing their...
He's giving them a message.
On im
Also
dáva
er
posolstvo.
verbreitet diese Botschaft.
Matthew 25:6.
Matúš 25:6.
Okay, so what's Noah doing?
Čo robí Noach?
In a midnight cry message, I mean.
Just crying will do.
Cry.
On volá k tomu svetu.
Ja.
So when Noah is crying,
Keď Noach volá,
what does crying mean, by the way?
čo to znamená?
It doesn't mean tears.
No, to znamená
Everyone
aj
can
pláč
call
v
nicely.
angličtine, ale to neznamená slzy, keď volá.
Proclaiming,
Hlása.
urgent. I'm going to say he's shouting. He begins to
Ja
shout.
by som povedal, že on kričí. Volá.
Ellen White will say every hammer blow to the nail was like a sermon.
Ellen Whiteová hovorí, že každé bitie toho kladiva bolo ako kázeň.
So I'm saying he's shouting.
Ja hovorím, že on kričí.
So the alternative,
Takže tá alternatíva,
they have to do what?
čo musia robiť?
they have to shout back.
Tiež musia na ňo
And the thing
kričať
is, what are they
naspäť.
shouting back?
Ale čo oni vlastne
Is
volajú?
it
Alebo
some
čo
brand new
kričia?
message?
Je to nejaké nové posolstvo?
No,
Nie.
it's just the status quo.
Je to status quo.
And that status quo was before his message came,
A to bolo predtým, ako prišlo jeho posolstvo.
but now it turns into a message.
Ale teraz sa z toho stalo posolstvo.
So you can think of the everlasting gospel and a blank, no alternative.
Takže môžeme rozmýšľať o večnom evanjeliu a potom, ako nemáme tu nič v tej alternatíve.
So what do we put here?
Čo sem dáme?
Good. This was the
Status
status
quo.
quo. Sorry? Thank you. So this is the status quo.
Toto je status quo.
And that's not a message,
To nie je posolstvo.
but it becomes a message.
Ale stane sa posolstvom,
It becomes an alternative perspective.
stane sa alternatívnou perspektívou.
So we end up having two models,
Takže máme dva modely.
an alternative message and no message.
Alternatívne posolstvo a žiadne posolstvo.
Are we okay with that?
Áno?
So when it's this one,
Keď je to toto,
this is not two streams of information.
toto nie sú dva zdroje informácií.
Doesn't have the property to it. You've only got one stream.
Nemá to tie vlastnosti. Máme iba jeden zdroj.
As soon as this status quo becomes a message,
Keď status quo sa stane posolstvom,
then you have two streams.
potom máme dva zdroje.
And that's why it got missed.
Preto nám to uniklo.
So the two streams of information, 9A and 9B, that's why it was A and B, because we split them.
Dva zdroje informácií 9a a
Is
9b.
this alternative messages that you said that perhaps we didn't discuss it, but that's where it was.
Ty hovoríš, že sme o tom nehovorili, ale ono to tu bolo skryté. V dvoch zdrojoch
Okay.
informácií.
Anything else that we think we may have missed?
Ešte niečo, čo si myslíte, že sme neurobili?
What you just said.
Yes.
Ich möchte nur sicher gehen, dass ich verstanden habe, was du gesagt hast.
So the two streams of information
Die zwei
Takže dva zdroje
Informationsströme
informácií.
are obvious. They're
offensichtlich.
true and false.
Es gibt falsch und wahr.
Je
Yes.
zrejme, že sú tam.
And is that represented by EG and alternative?
Ist das
A
hier
to je
bei
reprezentované
ewiges
tým večným evanjeliom
Alternatives,
a alternatívou.
symbolisiert?
The everlasting gospel.
Večné evanjelium
Everlasting gospel and the alternative.
a alternatíva.
So like right now we have the two streams of information that are that we call maybe liberal and conservative.
Also
Čiže
momentan
teraz
haben
máme
wir
dva
also
zdroje,
diese
ktoré
zwei,
nazývame možno liberálny a
Informationsströme, die wir von mir aus konservativ
konzervatívny.
liberal nennen könnten.
Okay, so but then there's something else that we don't see,
Aber dann gibt es noch etwas, was
Ešte
wir
tu
nicht
niečo
sehen,
iné, čo nevidíme,
which is a counterfeit.
čo je
was nämlich eine
napodobeninou.
Fälschung ist.
And it's a counterfeit to the true stream of information.
A to je
Und das ist
napodobeninou
die
toho
Fälschung der
pravdivého
wahren
zdroja.
Information.
So, if you're going to do it in the framework of, you said conservative and liberal.
Also, wenn man das jetzt
Keď
im
to chceš
Rahmen
robiť v
von
tomto
konzervativ
rámci
liberal macht,
konzervatívnych a
If
liberálnych,
we go to Democrats and Republicans,
pôjdeme
gehen wir
k
zu den
demokratom a
Demokraten,
republikánom.
zu den Republikanern.
they've always been there.
Oni
Sie
tam
waren
vždy
schon
boli,
immer da.
It was the status quo.
to bolo
Das
to
war
status
das
quo.
ist Status quo.
So a message begins to come.
Keď začne prichádzať posolstvo,
We'll say this one,
povieme toto,
which says, the glorious land is in trouble.
ktoré hovorí, krásna zem má problém.
That's coming from the Democrats.
To prichádza od demokratov.
United States is coming to its end.
Spojené štáty prichádzajú k svojmu koncu.
Now, the status quo
Status quo
is that the Republicans have always been there opposing them.
je, že republikáni tu vždy boli na to, aby ako keby boli v ich opozícii.
But now the Republicans come up with this alternative version or this alternative message.
Ale teraz republikáni prinášajú toto alternatívne posolstvo
And they start crying as loud as this group do.
a začínajú volať hlasnejšie ako táto
So the
skupina.
difficulty
Tá
is
zložitosť
taking what is already there, the status quo, and turning it into this relevant or alternative message.
je zobrať to, čo tu vždy bolo, to status quo, a spraviť z toho alternatívne, relevantné posolstvo.
Which, as you just said,
To si ty teraz povedala,
becomes a counterfeit.
sa stane napodobeninou.
So what we didn't lay here,
To, čo sme sem nedali,
because these just look like polar opposites, rain, no rain.
títo vyzerajú ako polárne opozita. Dážď, žiaden dážď.
Because it becomes an alternative,
Stane sa
completely
to-
different.
Stane sa to alternatívou.
So if we were to develop this story a bit more,
Ak by sme tento príbeh vyvinuli trochu viac,
did it rain?
pršalo?
It rained.
Pršalo.
And so Noah's message is what?
Noachové posolstvo je čo?
Rain
Dážď?
by God.
Od Boha.
Told you so. What's the alternative message?
Čo je alternatívne posolstvo?
It's not that anymore, is it?
To už nie je
Because the rain's here.
toto, lebo ten dážď už je tu.
So they accept the rain.
Takže oni príjmú ten dážď.
So what's the alternative?
Čo je alternatíva?
It's not God, it's
Es ist nicht Gott,
Nie je to od
sondern
Boha, je to
science.
z prírody.
They will explain it away somehow.
Nejako to vysvetlia.
das wegargumentieren oder begründen können, warum es geregnet hat.
So now we've got a counterfeit.
Teraz máme nápodobeninu.
Before it was an alternative and now it's a counterfeit. It's the same story.
Teraz predtým to bola alternatíva, ale stane sa nápodobeninou v tom istom príbehu.
Into the counterfeit.
Also es verändert sich in die Fälschung.
Only the way I've described it.
Also
Ja
es ist
som to
nur
tak
so, wie ich
popísal.
es beschrieben habe.
You could have another story where it's always been the counterfeit, but we just don't see it that way.
Du könntest eine
Môžeš
andere
zobrať aj
Geschichte
iný
nehmen, da
príbeh.
ist schon-
Ono to vždy
ist
bola
immer die
napodobenina,
Fälschung,
ale
aber
my
du
sme to
siehst
tak
es
predtým
halt nicht
nevideli.
so.
I know you have a question. So I'm saying it's always been the counterfeit
Ja hovorím, že vždy to bolo nápodobeninou,
because the subject is what?
lebo tá téma je čo?
What's the issue?
Aký je tu problém?
And science is man.
Veda,
That's been
to
the
je
real issue
človek.
all the way through.
Toto je, o tom je to vždy.
Who do you believe in? Who do you trust in? Do you trust in God
Komu
or do you
veríme?
trust in man?
Bohu alebo človeku.
And then it's a pure counterfeit,
A vtedy sa to stane jasnou nápodobeninou.
all from the beginning.
Od začiatku.
But it looked like it was two diametrically opposed issues.
Ale vyzeralo to, že to boli dve vlastne také protitémy alebo opozita.
When we have a story, there's always these different layers.
Keď máme príbeh, sú to vždy tieto rôzne vrstvy,
Completely opposite,
úplný opak
completely the same,
a úplne to isté.
at the same time.
V rovnakom čase.
And sometimes we can say, oh, that's confusing.
Niekedy môžeme povedať, že to je metúce.
And for me,
Pre mňa,
what I try to think is ignore this one.
čo sa snažím rozmýšľať, ignorujme toto.
Opposites.
Opozita,
Happy with that? Makes sense.
dáva zmysel.
Ignore that now.
Ignorujme to.
And now look at this.
A pozrime sa na toto.
It's counterfeit.
To je nápodobenina.
Who produces rain?
Kto produkuje dážď?
God.
Boh.
They say
Oni hovoria,
science.
že je to veda.
We might say Satan.
My môžeme povedať Satan.
So now it's a counterfeit.
To už je nápodobenina.
It's just different perspectives of the same story.
Je to iná perspektíva toho istého príbehu.
And I think what we're not familiar with in our movement
Myslím, to, čo v našom hnutí nepoznáme, alebo není nám to známe,
because someone's going to say to me,
niekto mi povie,
which one's right?
ktoré z toho je správne.
And we're going to say,
A my povieme,
they both are.
obidve sú správne,
Because it depends on the story you're telling.
lebo to závisí na tom príbehu, ktorý hovoríme.
Let me say that. It depends on the perspective
Za-
of the story that you're telling.
Závisí to na tej perspektíve toho príbehu, ktorý rozprávame.
Right.
Die Frage ist, ist es das, was
Which,
du sagst?
what is right?
Which story?
Welche Geschichte?
Je o
Opposites
to, ktorý príbeh je
or
pravdivý.
counterfeits?
Oder die
Oh.
Fälschungen?
Uh-huh.
Because this would be
Ktorá
pure white,
perspektíva je
Das hier
pravdivá.
wäre
Či je to,
white,
Das,
či je to
White, the colour.
das wäre hier komplett weiß.
and this
Toto je
would be
úplná
an
biela.
off-white.
A toto je trošku taká, nie
There's
úplne
very little
čistá
difference
biela.
between them.
Nie, medzi nimi nie je veľký rozdiel.
This one would be black and white.
Ale toto tu je čierne a
You
biele.
have opposites and similars.
Máme opozita a podobnosti.
So, Jonathan, sorry, it's been.
I just want to know the last bit, rain God, rain science, that was after the flood, right? When they built the Tower of Babel. That's
No, this is during the flood. It begins to rain now for 40 days. And so everyone's they want to explain what's going on. Because if it's God, then that means in 40 days they're going to die. I don't know if they know it's 40 days or not. They know they're about to die, the God version. But if it's a science version, they'll say, oh, don't worry, it's going to rain, but it'll all clear up because there's not that much water up there. They'll explain it away so that Noah's apocalyptic message is invalidated, even though it looks like it's been fulfilled.
Vlastne
Does that make sense, just the concept?
Jonathan sa pýta, že prečo tam sa
Okay, so
píše,
today,
že oni začali dážď vysvetľovať vedou.
yeah, because it's just drizzling.
Keď začalo
They say,
pršať,
it's only a
vlastne
drizzle.
už Noa bol
What can that do?
v tom
And then by the end of the week, it starts getting worse,
bol v
like
tej arche.
torrential
A
rain.
keď začalo
And they say,
pršať, tak ľudia to začali
stream never used to
vysvetľovať. To sa
exist.
nemusíme báť.
then
To
in
je,
another week, that stream becomes
to je len taký malý
little
dážď, z toho
river
nič
that you
nebude.
can't
Oni
cross.
sa to snažili po
And by the
ľudsky
time you get to the
vysvetliť.
end, it's not raining anymore.
Keby
Now you get
priznali,
an earthquake
že ten
and
dážď
water's
prichádzal od
gushing
Boha,
out of the earth.
vedeli by, že
And now
zomrú.
it's
Ale
full-blown
oni
panic.
nechceli panikáriť a snažili
Today.
sa to vysvetliť nejakým rozumným spôsobom, že prečo
We
prší.
could say the plague that's happened.
Tak dneska, keď sa stane
Is it
niečo,
science? It's
nejaká
random?
rana,
Chinese people don't know how to control cross-contamination, or is this a fulfillment of prophecy? I'm not trying to say God is cursing. I'm just going to say fulfillment of prophecy.
tak
Which version do
máme
you
dve
want?
verzie.
Because
Môžeme
if it's
povedať,
this version, fulfillment of
že sa
prophecy,
naplňa
this is
proroctvo,
going somewhere.
alebo môžeme
If it's
povedať,
just science, we'll say it's not a
napríklad
problem.
s
We'll
koronavírusom.
vaccinate them, we'll
Číňania,
find the
oni
vaccine, and
nevedia,
all get
čo majú
fixed, all
robiť,
sorted, and then life will go
ako
back
vlastne
to
kontrolovať tieto
normal.
vírusy.
Now, I'm not saying life won't go back to
sú
normal with respect to
cross
this
akože
virus.
ľudský a
I'm not trying to say
zvieracie.
that at all. I'm not saying this is going to destroy
Čiže
humanity.
môžeme začať
But
veci
if this is
vysvetľovať po ľudsky a
prophecy,
rozumom,
which is the
alebo
God
keď
side of
povieme,
things,
že
this is
naplňa sa
headed
proroctvo,
somewhere, it means that
to
the end
znamená,
is
že
coming.
tie veci niekam
I'm not
vedú
saying
a
the virus
prichádza
will
koniec.
produce the end. I'm not trying to make the virus the rain that kills everybody. I don't mean that. But you can understand
Ja som
the
teraz nemyslel
similarity.
prirovnať
Everybody's
vírus
experiencing this virus. People see it
k tej,
differently. And there's a third
potope, že vírus
alternative.
všetkých zabije,
This
to
one
som tu
has.
nechcel
They're
povedať, ja len
saying these
hovorím, že
evangelicals
je tu
are saying
problém vo
this is
svete
the curse
a
upon
my sa na to
America
môžeme pozrieť dvoma
because we're
spôsobmi.
sinners.
Buď, že sa naplňa
they can
proroctvo
list
a
the
veci
sin.
sa dejú, ktoré niekam vedú,
What's the sins that
alebo
they
si
do
to
in
vieme po
America?
ľudsky vysvetliť. Bol to
I forgot.
taký a taký
Sorry.
taký a taký dôvod, prečo
okay,
sa to stalo.
The question was,
Takže otázka bola,
is this story after the flood?
že či
Babel.
toto tu, čo som napísal, sa deje až po potope, že ľudia vysvetľovali dážď
It
vedou.
could have been,
Mohlo byť,
because that's what the argument that they have.
pretože tento argument mali,
But I was thinking before the flood it happened.
ale ja som mal na mysli ešte predtým, ako sa potopa vôbec stala.
Day one it begins to rain.
Keď začalo
This
pršať,
group say
táto
fulfillment
skupina
of the
hovorí,
prophecy, the word.
že sa naplňa proroctvo, naplňa sa Božie slovo.
This group say
A táto skupina hovorí,
coincidence,
to je zhoda
just
náhod,
science.
to je veda.
There was too much moisture and it rained.
Bolo príliš vlhko a tak to začalo trošku kropkať.
But it's not going to go anywhere.
A z toho nič nebude.
It will rain and then the moisture will disappear and then we'll go back to normal.
Však není toľko veľa oblakov a tá vlaha zmizne.
So in the story it just goes from bad to worse.
Takže v tom príbehu to ide iba od zlého k
By the time
horšiemu.
you get to the very end,
Ale kým už
too
prídeme
late.
ku koncu, už je neskoro.
so I gave an example
Dal som príklad
of today.
dnešného
So today
sveta.
there's this pandemic.
Dnes máme pandémiu.
I'm not talking about the crazy evangelical element.
Nehovorím teraz o tom bláznom evangelikálnom elemente.
We'll just make
Alebo
this
zložke.
the true and the false.
Rozdelíme to len na pravdu a nepravdu.
So
Alebo na
Elder Tess has demonstrated
Staršia Tess ukázala,
that this pandemic
že táto pandémia
is a fulfillment of prophecy
je naplnením proroctva.
because she's tied it back to the Spanish flu.
Prepojila to so španielskou chrípkou.
Does anybody remember the year?
Pamätáte si ten rok?
Good. 1918. And does
1918.
anybody remember the dates?
Pamätáte si dátumy?
The month?
Mesiac?
March.
Marec.
March 3.
3. marca.
Now I'm getting nervous because I'm different to you. My memory's no good.
Teraz som trochu
March
nervózny,
3,
lebo
March
ja mám zlú
4.
pamäť. A 4. marec.
March 3 is what?
3. marec je čo?
We'll just call it, because we're not as good as her.
My nie sme takí
We'll
dobrí
just
ako
call it because
ona.
we're not as good as her.
My nie sme takí dobrí ako ona, tak to nazveme len
The deal,
dohoda.
agreement.
To bola tá dohoda.
March 4,
A 4. marec?
the virus.
Vírus.
We're okay with that? It's so
Ano.
simple. There's the deal, then there's the virus.
Tak to je to jednoduché. Je dohoda a vírus.
Sorry? What is which? That's the Spanish flu.
To je španielská chrípka.
And there was some deal between two people.
Predtým bola dohoda.
It's a problem when you get a second-rate teacher doing the job because they can't remember.
World War I or?
Yes.
Das ist am Ende des
Oh, okay.
Ersten Weltkrieges.
Okay.
Yeah. It's to do with the World War. There's this deal
To bolo
that...
v tých
They're
svetových
coming to.
vojnách.
Also am Ende des Ersten Weltkrieges gibt es da dieses
Tak to je
Abkommen.
to problém, keď ja opakujem
Actually, I
jej
was supposed
štúdiu.
to find something for someone from yesterday and I've forgotten.
It was the signature of the treaty.
Das war die Handschrift.
The 3rd March, 1918.
So a deal is a treaty.
Also
Takže to je dohoda.
ein Handel.
Or we'll call it the treaty.
Wir nennen es eben das Abkommen.
The Brest.
I don't even know how to spell treaty. That's why the deal.
Dohoda Brest-Litovsk.
Just the right. The what one? You can pronounce this?
I know the Brest love. I don't know.
That's why I didn't bother.
No,
Preto som to
I don't.
nechcel hovoriť.
Help us hold the test. I we'll just call it the treaty.
What kind of treaty is it?
This is the end.
Of World War I treaty?
Yeah, something to do with that. If you just type in the date, you'll call it. Shemaine's got it. The what? How do you do
I've
it?
got it in my notes, but I don't have the name of the treaty.
You just
because
said it.
Brest something. It's
Brest-
on. It's on. It's on 2
I'm
words.
not going to
so
embarrass myself in
Dohoda
public.
Brest-Litovsk.
No.
On hovorí, no tak to
Brest
mám.
Okay.
something.
We're going to look for it now. We're not
Toto
going to
budeme musieť
skip.
vyhľadať.
Won't
Okay.
avoid the pain. Embarrassing.
To je hanba.
Who asked the question?
In this train.
It's in the train?
Brest-Litovsk.
There
Voilà.
it goes.
So I put it in my note. Like that, I've got it.
Oh, 1918. The Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. Brest-Litovsk?
We don't pronounce
Brest-
it. It's at the same.
I'm going with you, Brother Jim.
Brest-Litovsk.
Brest-Litovsk. Something like that.
How do you write that?
B-R-E-S-T-L-I-T
Nevedia to vysloviť.
O-V-S-K. I-T. I just typed in March 3rd, 1980. I can do this one. It's near Belarus.
Je to
I can manage that.
blízko
It's a city. It's the name of a city located in Belarus,
blízko Bielej
near
Rusy.
Near Poland.
Also das ist ein Friedensvertrag von Brest-Litovsk in Weißrussland.
Brest-Litovsk. I'll go with that one. It's in Belarus.
Je-
They signed a
Bielorusy.
treaty.
Je tu dohoda.
Vertrag geschlossen.
Okay, so at the end of all of this,
Na konci tohto všetkého,
what's happening?
čo sa deje?
What is the treaty?
O čom je tá dohoda?
For Russia to get out of the participating in World War I.
Good.
Es ging darum, dass die Sowjetunion
No, som nerozumela, čo povedali. Niečo s
I'm going
prvou
to
vojnou.
hack this to pieces. The treaty is that Russia loses.
A bolo to o tom vlastne, že Rusko prehráva. Bol to koniec tej prvej svetovej vojny.
That probably has nothing to do with reality. So the king of the south loses,
Kráľ juhu prehral
and then the virus hits.
a potom prišiel vírus.
So
Takže
for us,
pre nás
19, no, not 19, 2019,
2019,
November the 9th,
9. november,
we'll call it, I don't know, she's going to tell me off. I'm going to call it Raffia.
ja tu nazvem Rafio.
Okay, so Raffia, the king of the south, is the
Král
victor.
juhu víťazí.
And this one,
A toto,
the king of the south,
kráľ
Is-
juhu,
vanquished. And then, if we go
tiež
with
prehral.
the Chinese data, the data that comes from China itself,
Keď zoberieme tie dáta z Číny,
they gave the date of the 17th,
oni nám dávajú 17. november,
where they first identified the virus.
kedy prvýkrát identifikujú vírus.
So, we've connected the virus to prophecy.
Vírus sme prepojili s proroctvom.
I'm not trying to say God cursed the earth. In any way
Nesnažím sa
like that.
teraz tým povedať, že Pán Boh preklial zem.
But this
Ale toto
is on this side.
je na tejto strane.
The virus is a subject of Bible prophecy.
Vírus je predmetom biblického proroctva
It's going to lead to what?
a bude to viesť k čomu?
I'm just going to call it pain,
Bolesti,
crisis,
kríze,
is that it? Yeah? Crisis. And that's going to lead to what?
a to bude viesť k čomu?
Adventists. Going to lead to a Sunday law.
Nedeľnému zákonu.
We skip some steps.
Nejaké veci sme tu
So
preskočili.
it's going to lead to a Sunday law.
Bude to viesť k nedeľnému zákonu.
And they say
A oni hovoria,
next year,
na budúci
what will
rok,
we develop?
čo vyvinieme?
We'll develop a vaccine
Vyvinieme vakcínu,
and this will all disappear.
A všetko to zmizne.
And what will we have
A čo budeme mať
at the end of that?
na konci?
We'll have the status quo.
Budeme
We'll
mať to, čo bolo predtým. Status quo.
come back to normal.
Vrátime sa k normálu.
This story says,
Tento príbeh hovorí,
when you see the rain,
keď uvidíte dážď,
it's the beginning of
je to začiatok
the end.
konca.
Once this happens,
Keď sa stane toto,
you know the end is coming.
viete, že koniec prichádza.
We call it in our movement a harbinger,
Je to taká predzvesť.
a foreboding or a forewarning of what's about to come.
Predzvesť varovania toho, čo má prísť.
First day of rain,
Najprv máme dážď,
the end is your death,
ale ten koniec je vaša smrť.
or the end of the world.
Alebo koniec sveta.
First day of rain,
Najprv máme dážď,
it will dry up, life will carry on.
ten vyschne a život bude pokračovať ďalej.
And then they add stuff.
A potom pridajú ďalšie veci.
They don't just say it'll go back to normal
Nepovedia len, to sa vráti všetko k normálu,
to trick the people,
ale aby ľudí nejak tak
to con them.
ošalili alebo ukludnili.
What did they say?
Čo povedia?
It won't go back to normal.
Už to nepôjde naspäť k normálu.
It'll be better.
Bude to lepšie.
We're going to come out of this better and stronger.
My z tohto vidíme silnejší.
So you come to the virus story,
Takže keď prídeme k tomu príbehu o víruse
COVID-19.
COVID-19,
When you see it,
keď to uvidíme,
you know what's going to happen.
vieme, čo sa udeje.
This is the harbinger of the end of the world.
To je predzvesť konca sveta.
It's not the only one that we have, by the way. It's just the one that I chose to speak about.
To nie je jediné, čo máme, ale o tomto som sa rozhodol hovoriť.
Sister Catherine,
Katrin,
how do you know
ako vieš,
that this is a harbinger that the world's about to come to an end?
že toto je predzvesť toho, že svet prichádza k svojmu koncu?
Viruses have come and gone.
Vírusy vždy prišli a
Why this
odišli.
one?
Prečo tento je
Means
predzvesťou?
it's going to affect our economy, or it has affected our.
Pretože to bude mať dopad na ekonomiku?
That's what I think.
We turned the virus into what?
Čo sme urobili z toho vírusu?
We turned it into a subject of Bible prophecy.
Z proroctva sa stal predmet biblického, teda z vírusu sa stal predmet
Prosím?
biblického proroctva.
Of the virus.
Ich hätte gesagt, es ist einfach nur der Zeitpunkt, wann der Virus aufkommt.
Sister Shemaine? Just listen, I'm not asking you a question. We turned the virus into
Wir haben den Virus
Z vírusu sa stal predmet proroctva.
prophecy. And you said?
A ty si povedala?
The timing.
es ist der Zeitpunkt, wann aufkommt.
How do you turn a virus into prophecy, Sister Shemaine?
Ako sa to deje, že z vírusa sa stane proroctvo?
Was gestattet dir das zu tun? Wie machst du das?
Alebo
In
naplnenie
this case,
proroctva?
it touched
No, in
everybody.
any case.
It touched everybody.
No,
In irgendeinem Fall.
We can measure it.
no.
Du kannst messen? Nein.
Brother Jim?
Že
We don't decide of the time it touch you. It's God who decide the
Wir
time.
entscheiden nicht die
my
Zeit,
nerozhodujeme
sondern
o tom
Gott
čase, kedy sa to
turn
stane. Boh to
Any
rozhodne.
event, this virus into prophecy,
Na to, aby sme z nejakej udalosti, napríklad tohto vírusu, mohli urobiť proroctvo,
because what did we attach to that virus?
čo sme k tomu vírusu
One
vedeli pripojiť?
Time.
Čas.
You attach time to it.
Ten vírus zapadá do určitého časového
Sister
rámca.
Catherine,
Katrin?
how did you attach time to a virus?
Ako pripojíš
How
čas
can
k
you
tomu
attach
víru?
time to a virus? Remember your answer you already
Ako to
given.
dáš do časového rámca, ten vírus?
Or history.
develop it.
Wenn man sich Prophetie und Geschichte anschaut,
Forget prophecy, history.
vergiss jetzt die Prophetie.
Teraz zabudni na
Develop the
proroctvo,
thought.
rozmýšľaj o dejinách.
In history,
Wait there.
Es geht darum, die Geschichte
Nerozumela, čo
zu
hovorí?
schauen.
You said history.
Dejiny,
I'm going to change it. Finish it.
Du sagst,
historical,
events.
dejinné
You go
udalosti.
back and look at an historical.
Pozrieme sa na
An historical
udalosti v
event.
dejinách.
du gehst
To
zurück
jest
und schaust
cytatu
dir
Ellen
historische
Whiteovej
Ereignisse
toto.
an.
Which event?
Welches
Na
Ereignis?
ktorú udalosť sa pozrieme?
It's on the board. Good.
1918.
You go back to historical event.
Vrátili sme sa k historickej udalosti.
You go back to 1918 and review what happened there.
Also man geht zurück zu
1918 a pozrieme sa, čo sa tam stalo.
Why not 20 or 19 or 1850? Why 1918? What did you look for?
Prečo sme si vybrali práve túto udalosť a nie 1950 alebo nejaký iný rok?
Similarities, when the virus took place.
Sú to podobnosti toho, kedy sa ten vírus objavil?
Similarities.
Podobnosti.
Scenes similar to these.
Scény podobné týmto. To je od Whiteovej, sa budú
What are
opakovať.
What are the things that we looked for? Two things.
Čo sme hľadali?
I just had the word in my head. The magnitude of the flu.
Also der Höhepunkt der Grippe.
We looked for a virus
Wir haben nach
Vírus
and
a
we looked for
Magnitude of.
separate subject.
ein
on the
anderes
board.
Thema.
Oh, we also looked at raffia.
Also wir haben auch nach Raffia Ausschau gehalten.
Oh. The treaty.
a dohoda.
Dem Abkommen haben wir auch Ausschau gehalten.
We saw that there was a deal and a virus and they were connected in time.
Videli sme, že je tu dohoda a vírus a sú spolu spojení v čase.
So how do you turn something that's happening today into, we'll call it a special event or a prophecy?
Ako z toho, čo sa deje dnes, sa stane zvláštna udalosť alebo proroctvo?
In Prophetie oder ein besonderes Ereignis umwandeln.
You have to attach something to it.
Musíme k tomu niečo pripojiť.
What?
Čo?
Brother Jim told us?
Jim nám povedal?
Time.
Čas.
You have to attach time to it.
Musíme k tomu pripojiť čas.
2019.
2019.
So you've got the date, but that's not attaching time.
Máme dátum, ale to nie je pripojenie času.
So to attach time to the virus,
Na to, aby sme pripojili čas k vírusu,
you need to go back to what?
sa musíme vrátiť k čomu?
An historical event.
K historickej udalosti.
And what you have to have.
Čo musíme mať?
Same story.
Rovnaký príbeh.
Has to be an alpha and omega.
To musí byť alfa a omega.
And this was March 1918.
A to je marec 1919.
Deal and virus. Deal and virus.
Dohoda a vírus, dohoda a vírus.
But we don't want to call it a deal.
Nechceme to nazvať dohoda.
We want to call it Russia loses, Russia wins.
Rusko prehrá, Rusko vyhrá.
So now this becomes a harbinger or a subject of Bible prophecy.
Toto sa stane teraz predzvesťou biblického proroctva.
This is not some
predzvesťou
foolish
alebo
evangelical
naplnením.
position like the curse of God.
Toto nie je nejaká bláznivá evangelikálna pozícia, že to je Božia kliatba.
Is this significantly different to what secular people are seeing?
Je toto zvláštne rozdielne od toho, čo vidia ľudia sekulárni?
Yes and no.
Áno aj nie.
No, it's not any different.
Nie, nie je to iné.
They said
Oni povedali,
this Spanish flu,
že španielská
something
chrípka
like this could easily happen again. And it has.
by sa ľahko mohla znova zopakovať. Aj sa zopakovala.
So there's no difference.
V tom nie je rozdiel.
It's very different
Ale čo je veľmi iné,
because we're connecting this
je, že my to prepájame
through prophecy.
s proroctvom.
Because what have we tied it to?
K čomu sme to priviazali?
Separate to the time, what do we connect it to?
Okrem času ešte.
And Raphael.
My to máme v spojitosti s Rafiou.
We connected it to the deal
Je to spojené s dohodou
and what we call Raphia.
a to, čo nazývame
So
Rafiou.
we connected it to the relationship of the king of the north and the king of the south.
Pripojili sme to k vzťahu kráľa juhu a kráľu severa.
And no one can do that
Toto nemôže nikto urobiť,
because they don't see the connection.
pretože nevidia to prepojenie.
So that's how we've tied this together.
Takto tieto dve sme zviazali alebo prepojili.
And so we say
A tak hovoríme,
the virus
že vírus
is the beginning of the end.
je začiatok konca.
And they say
A oni hovoria,
the virus
že vírus
is the beginning
je začiatok
of something better.
niečoho lepšieho.
We'll get over it
Sa cez to dostaneme
and we'll be stronger.
a budeme silnejší.
Are we okay with that?
Áno?
So, status quo,
Status quo.
viruses come and go. What's the issue?
Vírusy prišli a odišli. Čo má byť?
Why did we not do this with what are the other important viruses that have come up recently, in recent years?
Aké sú ešte iné dôležité vírusy, ktoré prišli v posledných rokoch?
SARS,
SARS, Ebola,
good. That one's out of
HIV.
vogue, isn't it? We'll go with that. We never attached any of this
nič z tohoto sme nepripojili
to prophecy.
k proroctvu.
It's not enough
To by nestačilo.
as an Adventist
Ako adventisti
to say there'll be earthquakes
povieme, že bude zemetrasenie
and you do a graph of earthquakes
a nakreslíme graf zemetrasení
or wars and say, oh,
Alebo
there's a
vojny.
lot of
a
wars
povieme, že deje sa veľa vojny
or diseases
a choroby
and say there's a lot of diseases.
a povieme, je veľa chorôb.
This is not the way to do it.
Takto sa to nerobí.
Can't just say, oh, there's a lot of disease nowadays.
Nemôžeme len povedať, že no, dnes je veľa chorôb.
I'm not trying to say that COVID-19 is better or worse than any of these.
Nesnažím sa povedať, že COVID-19 je lepší alebo horší ako čokoľvek z tohto tu.
Better and worse, I mean more deadly or
V zmysle
not so deadly.
smrteľnejší alebo menej nebezpečný.
What Elder Tess has demonstrated
To, čo staršia Tess ukázala,
is that this virus has a particular quality to it,
je, že tento vírus má
nature,
určitú vlastnosť.
property.
Určitú vlastnosť.
This is not just time and chance. Diseases come.
To nie je nejaký čas a náhoda
This
a
becomes the subject of
súhra
Bible
náhod.
prophecy
Toto je predmetom biblického
because
proroctva,
prophecy is time
pretože proroctvo je čas
and time is events.
a čas je udalosť.
And you can't just do mathematical calculations.
Nemôžeme si toto len matematicky spočítať.
She didn't do that.
To ona nerobila.
What's the time span?
Čo to tu je?
She didn't say, oh, 101 is a special number.
Ona nepovedala, 101
I don't
je
think she even did
špeciálne
101.
číslo.
Because you don't need to.
Nemusí to
What
robiť.
she did was take the events, repeat in history,
Zobrala udalosti, ktoré sa opakujú v dejinách.
and the one that ties it together, besides the virus itself,
A to, čo to dáva dohromady okrem toho víru samotného, alebo to, čo to spája,
is Russia
je Rusko
and its relationship with its enemies, if you like.
a jej vzťah, ich vzťah so svojimi nepriateľmi.
So hopefully that's helped to answer this question about alternative messages.
Dúfam, že toto nám pomáha odpovedať na otázku toho alternatívneho posolstva.
And that I can pronounce Bresletov,
Ak to môžem vysloviť, Breslitovsk,
which is in Belarus.
Bielorusi,
It's a peace treaty
mierová dohoda,
that involved Russia. And basically they got rid of Russia.
bola tam dohoda týkajúca sa Ruska, oni sa Ruska ako keby zbavili
And now
a teraz
Russia becomes the winner, if I say it that
Rusko
way.
sa stáva víťazom.
And right after that, you get the virus coming.
A hneď potom máme vírus.
Danach siehst du wieder Virus aufkommen.
Just trivia. Trivial piece of information. No, unimportant.
Taká nedôležitá, jednoduchá informácia.
COVID-19.
COVID-19.
What do people keep on calling it?
Ako to ľudia volajú?
Chinese. What do they call this one?
Čínska. Toto nazývajú
Spanish.
ako?
There's good evidence that it never came from Spain.
Španielska. Je dobrý dôkaz na to,
I'm not saying this didn't come from China.
že to nikdy neprišlo zo Španielska. Ja nevravím, že toto neprišlo z Číny.
All I'm saying is
Ja hovorím,
labeling it like to make it a nationalistic term
že to nazývajú podľa nejakej krajiny, dávajú tomu taký nacionalistický pojem.
is not appropriate today.
A dnes to nie je vhodné,
It's not suitable. It's not the right thing to
nehodí
do.
sa to.
Heute nicht unbedingt empfehlenswert.
And then
A tu
it's almost certainly wrong.
to bolo takmer určite nesprávne.
I'm not giving perspective where it came from, but there's good evidence to say it didn't come from Spain.
Teraz nejdem hovoriť, že odkiaľ to prišlo, ale je dobrý dôkaz na to, že to zo Španielska neprišlo.
Any questions?
Nejaké otázky?
So we spoke about alternative messages. Did the story of Noah,
Hovorili sme o alternatívnych posolstvách, o príbehu
and then
Noacha.
I gave, because someone asked a question. I think it was Brother Jonathan. I can't remember.
Niekto sa pýtal otázku, myslím, že to bol
So I
Jonathan.
gave the same scenario or the same dynamic in a different story.
Dal som ten istý príbeh, tú istú dynamiku v inom príbehu.
And we changed the deal into a treaty and did that properly. Any questions?
Sú nejaké otázky?
Let's pray.
Poďme sa pomodliť.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your goodness.
Drahý nebeský Otče, ďakujeme Ti za Tvoju
Help
dobrotu.
us to be on the right side.
Pomôž nám, aby sme boli na tej správnej strane.
And if we are,
Ak sme,
help us to see the significance of what's going on.
pomôž nám, aby sme videli významnosť toho, čo sa deje.
Help us to see the prophetic significance of this virus.
Pomôž nám vidieť prorocký význam tohto víru.
How it will be a catalyst
Ako je to katalizátor,
to lead us to the end.
ktorý nás povedie ku koncu.
We realize there's things we don't understand,
Sú veci, ktorým nerozumieme,
but we bow before you,
ale skláňame sa pred Tebou.
asking that you will continue to teach us
Prosíme ťa, aby si nás ďalej učil
and give us hearts that are willing to learn.
a dal nám srdcia, ktoré sú ochotné sa učiť.
In Jesus' name.
V mene Ježiša.
Amen.
Amen.